Bienvenidos a Movimiento Naranja, el podcast en español de Bayou City Soccer, donde te traemos lo mejor de la MLS y la pasión del Houston Dynamo. Todo lo que necesitas saber en tu idioma. Movimiento Naranja, la MLS en español, con toda la pasión de Houston.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Orange and Blueprints. I know that the intro played Movimiento Naranja, but we've got a slightly different one as we're going to be talking some Dash here. I am your host, Diego Martinez Reyes, and I'm joined alongside a different host. Manny unfortunately chose the Astros across the street.
What a traitor.
Instead of the Dash here. But we've got an equally as an amazing of a host in Rudy Segura. Rudy, how are you doing?
Oh, well, thank you, man. I was hoping that you guys would invite me at some point at this rate, guys.
I know.
Come on, man. You guys are slacking.
We need to slack. You've been critical on our hosts lately, and so we were saying, why not bring you along, huh?
Yeah, no, but like anything, man, it just takes time. We've been doing podcasting for like 3 years now, so I think it becomes more natural, right? It's kind of weird talking to just a face on 100%. The other side,
yeah.
You know? So, but no, man, we're here. We got the opportunity to be recording live from Shell Energy Stadium as the Houston Dash are going to be taking on the Rayadas de Monterrey. You're a fan?
That's my team. Those who know me, I'm from Monterrey. Those who don't have now learned that fact. And I grew up supporting Monterrey and Rayadas. And so this is a big game. This is a big game for me. I told everybody around me that I will be neutral. So I'm going to do my best to be that. But we know that in the sports industry, it's often hard, right?
I mean, you take it on how they come, of course, man. I think like when you're passionate for specific teams and they go against each other, you just want whoever to win.
100%.
Or if it's a tie, it's a tie at the end of the day, man. But no, hey, thanks again for joining us, everybody that is starting to join us on the stream. We are happy to try to do the streams. They're kind of new to us, man. You know, we started all this during COVID. So like last couple weeks ago, we were at We Got Soccer, which you guys will probably be out there as well for Orange and Blueprints podcast live from there. And I was telling Dustin, it's weird to talk.
It's weird
having somebody face to face, man.
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
No, and especially coming from the shows that Manny and I used to do. Me all the way up in New York, and him holding it down here in Houston. And so it is a breath of fresh air finally stepping outside of the screen.
And I guess it feels more natural being here, like closer, because it makes sense to be miles away at that rate too. Being in the Bronx and just connecting with somebody in Houston makes it a little fun, man. But Houston Dash are in a bit of a break. I know that I listened to you guys' podcasts, and so I don't know if you want to mention a little bit of those international friendlies that some of the players have been a part of.
Yeah, so international break has been graced upon us, and some standouts being Kiki making her first start for the Jamaican national team, Avery being a standout as normal under Emma Hayes and the U.S. women's national team, and players such as Sarah Puttingham also captaining her side. But we've also reached something of a halfway point during the season, and so it's important for us as Dash fans and as people who have looked at this team under Fabrice Catrat and kind of reflect over the half season that they've had. So they currently stand a couple of places beneath the playoff line and are kind of just aching to get into that space, but unfortunate to get many results to really push them in that boundary. That's a similar position as our men's team, the Dynamo, and I mean, I believe you can talk through your perspective of seeing that kind of struggle happen. Talk to me a little bit about what you've seen from the Dash so far.
Yeah, I think when the arrival of Fabrice was a real thing, right? Not really a rumor, but when he was introduced, you saw a new coach, a fresh coach, that you felt, this is what the team needs. And I was very optimistic of this team actually making the playoffs and seeing a big transformation. And I think culture-wise, I think it's there from
Mhm.
whatever, what we hear from the players, from the coaching staff. I believe that it is there. Now, the results are not coming their way. Obviously, they have very good players like Jasmine Ryan, who's, I mean, I know she was one of your favorites from the get-go before the season started, and she's not necessarily there in goals and assists, but I think that it's just a matter of time for chemistry to build. Similar, like you mentioned, like the Dynamo. It's one of those that, in a way, is a rebuild year for the Dynamo, and I feel that it's for sure a rebuild year for the Dash.
100%. And I mean, we have to understand that within the context of last season, where we were dead last in the NWSL, and now there is a breath of fresh air of us sneaking into a playoff spot. We're halfway through the season. Things are looking hopeful. Yes, we haven't had the greatest performances, but looking at each and every game, we see half after half of brilliant performances, and then something switching, something not working, something not clicking. So I think Fabrice has the time, and I feel like he has the squad to really turn things around. But we have a special game coming today. We've talked about CF Monterrey. I've talked about CF Monterrey. I want to ask you the question, especially considering more international play is going to come with Leagues Cup. How important is it for American teams to really get this international exposure?
Yeah, it's very important. Clearly, there's not a true clubs international competition for the women's right now. So the only one that they have the opportunity to take on often is the Liga MX. Obviously, we've seen them play Tigres, and we've seen them play last year in that Summer Cup, right, with Mexican teams that they faced. I think it was Pachuca. Tigres is one of them as well.
Mhm.
And to an extent, this type of matches are limiting because you're calling it a friendly, so it really depends how much you really how much effort the team is playing. You would hope that it'd be 100%, but you really know that you don't want to get injuries
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, this game doesn't matter stat
Yeah.
wise, right? But what ends up happening here is the fact that you have to sorry you have to um, take advantage of playing somebody that you don't see, in the regular season. And so playing against teams like Rayadas, I think is very special because they are a good team. They're about to play. It's a Campeonas Cup, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. So at the end of the day, you have to truly take advantage of just that international competition because we know that the NWSL does a fantastic job bringing in players from everywhere. And Rayadas and Liga MX Femenil, they do a good job doing the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, talking a little bit more about Rayadas, I don't want to steal a little bit of the spotlight from our very own Joey Stats, but um, Rayadas are coming off a disappointing 4-2 aggregate defeat against Pachuca in the Clausura. A staple of the final, not making it to that part of the tournament will always be a sting. And so you're going to ask the question, how are they going to bounce back? And this is their first test of the season as they're really ramping into what is their apertura. They've gotten some good signings. Ashlyn Fernandez from the University of Tulsa is a great player, notched 3 goals and 1 assist in 53 league games. And then Juana Plata makes her return to Rayadas as she was a big part in 2 championship winning teams. And so, I mean, this is a Rayadas team that is filled with energy, that is filled with hope. Um, because yes, they are going to be playing the Campeones Cup. They are going to be trying to, go back to the winning culture that they have. Because when you look at teams within the Liga MX Femenil, the disparity is a lot wider than I would say the NWSL, where any real team could really make a run for it. Whereas the Liga MX, you've seen the 2 or 3 powerhouse teams that have really taken up that mantle in women's soccer over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that there's a connection with Monterrey in general, whether it be Rayadas or Tigres. Obviously, we see the return of La Bombi to
Mhm.
Tigres, and obviously Diana Ordonez just left for Tigres. Not who they're facing tonight, but there is that rivalry between cities and connection of Houston and Monterrey, as I mentioned. The only player I believe that had played with Rayadas was Olivieri, and she's not here today.
Yeah, she, I believe, is out on international duty. And I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for Fabrice to really test out the players that haven't really gotten looks. I mean, Dujan's been having minutes here and there, but not really a consistent part of the lineup. And when she has been, again, a very staple within the Fabrice system is playing players where he thinks they'll be strongest at, and so that might be for Dujan, at least in the midfield, in the wing spot, or maybe even as a 9 at points during the games. But for the players, I think it's an opportunity to get momentum. You mentioned it, that this game doesn't really have any real weight on the team when it comes to the standings in NWSL, but it does carry on a lot of pride aspects to it, where you see players that necessarily haven't been performing to their best. You see maybe Jane Campbell not really playing her best
Right.
this season, maybe getting an opportunity to have a showcase between the sticks. You see players like Messiah Bright, who has been extended to be our number 9, but not notching in goals like she is maybe expected to. And so you see a lot of these situations and you ask yourself, well, what's the point in having a game like this? Well, the point is definitely to have that boost in morale and boost in mentality, because momentum is a very powerful thing in the NWSL, because you don't really know who you're playing against until you're there on the pitch.
Yeah, especially when it's such a hard break, right? I mean, they had been pausing the league. Towards the end, I think they stopped it twice for international break as well. But then you have a whole month plus without an actual regular season game. So that makes it difficult. And there's a lot of players that didn't get called up. There is some obviously competitions. You have the Euros kind of happening, which I think Bagman was the only one that was going to be a part of it if he got injured.
Yeah.
And then you have Misha Aloysiu playing as well, international competition. But and Oliveria as well is out, as we mentioned. But you have the rest of the team just here hanging out, watching Netflix, chilling basically. This games are important, and apart from this match, they'll be playing another one later on against
The
USL Super
Carolina
League.
Ascents. Yeah.
So I mean, these matches do matter for the fitness and for them finding form. Any players, I guess I'll change the topics. You talked about the players that haven't seen a lot of minutes. Who are you expecting to see plenty of minutes this game?
I think that's a really good question. A player that has gotten a lot of minutes that I think needs to be playing is Maggie Graham.
Okay.
I feel like her position on the field has been very questionable throughout the season, going from striker to left back.
Mhm.
And so I feel like getting her a consistent position is a must, and this is a game to do it. You have 2 games that don't matter in the table, at least, and it gives you a perfect opportunity to place her kind of wherever you want. Another player that I would really like to see is
I would
Messiah
like to
Bright.
see Zoe Matthews would be an interesting one, and she's a young player.
I think so. I agree with that. I don't think she's made an appearance this season yet. No. And I mean, she's what now, 18 years old, and I believe, especially last season when she was starting out, she had a lot of promise, but I don't know whether it was because of the coaching change or something happening there, but she hasn't gotten the looks. Another player that hasn't featured for us is the Brazilian Rebecca.
Yes.
I mean, we brought her in, to alleviate a little bit of the defensive woes, and we really haven't seen any of the alleviation happening. And so it brings me to question of why not feature these players a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a quick little break here just to mention thank you guys for joining us on the stream. Feel free to leave any comments, questions, trivia questions you may want Diego to answer. Personal questions. No, you can if you want.
You can. We're a relatively open book, I would say.
Yeah, we have to be. We have to be. But no, obviously, also want to thank We Got Soccer, our friends there. Go check them out at their 2 locations. The one's on West Chase and the Tomball location. Again, the West Chase was really nice, and they just recently had guys, legends, man. You probably know this. Pavel Pardo, you remember that?
Yeah, what
Omar
a
Bravo, those big names. They had them there to get autographs for all the Liga MX fans that either you follow Chivas, you follow America, or you just follow the national team, especially after winning the Gold Cup.
yeah.
And if you don't have a new jersey and you want to go get it there. Also want to do a shout out to Ugly Guppy. They keep us looking fresh. Absolutely, man. So yeah, if you need anything to make your brand stand
Wait,
out,
you didn't bring your polo, man.
I didn't.
You're not repping
I brought
Ugly
the hat. I
Guppy.
brought the hat.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't do both.
That's fair.
Like today, because I usually do.
No, that's fair. That's
I
fair.
usually do, and some I know it's like blue and black. I'll wear that, and I feel it doesn't necessarily goes, but it still looks good.
It always looks good.
Yeah, it always looks good.
And with the Houston Heat, we need a comfortable material too.
Absolutely.
And so I mean, shout out Ugly Guppy for hooking us up and for supporting us. That genuinely means a lot. It's a lot of fun repping and talking some Dynamo and Dash. And
Yeah, you're the only one over there in New York repping our stuff. So
funny enough, I saw a Dash jersey at Saturday's football
Nice.
in New York
when they do the EPL stuff. Is that
those kinds of stores, and I was like very surprised. It was the only NWSL shirt there, and I was like, that's a little random, but I'm not complaining.
And then lastly, just a shout out to Elotes Bravos, man. Elotes Bravos also a good sponsor for us. They sponsor our fan feud where we give away plenty of like memorabilia or giveaways that we may have for Houston Dynamo and Dash. And of course, you get a voucher to get a free elote. Who doesn't love a free elote, man?
Nah, nobody.
Free agua fresca. What's your to-go agua fresca?
Oh,
they're all good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be so for real. I haven't had agua fresca in so long because I can't find a good one in New York.
Well, you know what? We have to make a stop and go get some.
We do. We have to do it because my go-tos up there are either a nice horchata or a nice Jamaica. I'm a Jamaica guy myself. If you guys want a little bit,
it took me a while to know that was hibiscus.
Yeah, no, because I was talking to somebody and up there and I was like, I want Jamaica, and they're like, what's that? And I'm like, Jamaica, and they're like, English, bro, like,
right.
And I'm like, and so I literally had to pull out my phone, Google what is Jamaica, and it was like a country in the Caribbean. I'm like, all right. I'm like, all right.
You weren't that far off. It's true. It's a true statement. But they're like, what do you want me to do? You want Caribbean jerk? Is that trying to get some wings here? No, but it's funny because just finishing with hibiscus. Yeah, I think like Starbucks or someone puts out like a hibiscus drink.
Yeah.
I drank it and I was like, is this Jamaica?
Yeah.
Googling made it and found out that is correct. So anyways, we're giving all kinds of fun facts here, man. Get into the culture. It is Rayadas playing tonight, so we have to bring that Hispanic culture into the podcast today that we have. But yeah, so those are the fantastic sponsors that we have, and feel free to follow us on every social media platform under Bayou City Soccer. Diego, apart from running the Orange and Blueprints podcast alongside Manny Olivares, you take great pictures, man.
Appreciate
take great
it.
video, amazing content. So make sure to follow him. We'll every time the podcasts go up, his handle is there. So if you want to keep up with him, as well as mine and everybody else that joins. So we try to keep everybody showing some love, man.
A little highlight. Shout out Ricky Vega for winning the 2025 Gold Cup. For those who don't know, Ricky is a good photographer friend of mine that also works with Bayou City, and he's
found a niche, man.
He's good friends with a couple of the Mexican national team players, so he showed us the medal and everything, and so shout out Ricky for winning the 2025 Gold Cup. You made us Mexicans proud. You brought it home for us. Love you, bro. But yeah, be sure to support all of the content creators for Bayou City Soccer. We've got plenty of them, and all of our journalists too. I mean, Rudy does God's work with everything, and mostly everything that nobody else wants to do. He is our lifesaver. He is. Him and Dustin are two guys.
The trash cans, man. Just take whatever nobody wants, and we do it. We get it done. But yeah, to finish out, man, I think this has been, we have about maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's finish up with your thoughts in the match. What are you expecting? Maybe bring the fan side of it as well. What are you expecting? Goals? You want a 4-4 match?
I on the last episode of Orange and Blueprints, if those who can remember, I predicted a 2-2 draw. I'm gonna stand still with that one because I don't think Rayadas are gonna be as strong of a team as they will be 2-3 games into the season. However, you look at this team; they are lethal. They have anchors like Diana Garcia in the midfield, Christina Birkenrode, their leading scorer with 20 goals last season. She provides a physical presence, which relies a lot on the wing speed, which is something that the Dash have severely struggled in throughout the season. So I'm not really sure which way they want to attack this game because there's the perspective of, yes, let's use our wingers, let's use our speed, but then there's also let's play out from the back, let's do a slow build up play, which is something similar to what the Dash have been trying to, build themselves into. I see a lot of experimentation happening. I see a lot of substitutions happening within halftime. Um, but overall, I see a team like Monterrey really taking this as an opportunity to, fine tune their lineup, fine tune their players, get Christina Birkenrode hot early before the season starts, get Diana Garcia going. She missed a crucial game in last year's playoffs, if you want to say it that way, against Tigres in the Clásico. Um, there's so much with Rayadas that I don't really know what they're gonna bring, but they're
Mhm.
gonna bring something, and I don't necessarily think they're going to stick with it. For the Dash side of things, I mean, we know the type of game that they want to play. In the pregame press conference, Fabrice was very adamant that this is not a game he had any control in really picking,
Right.
but he's certainly prepping this game as any other.
And I think it's as even as it can get too,
Mhm.
because even though um, Reyes is coming straight up from preseason as they get ready for a new season in the fall. Uh, the Dash kind of find themselves in the same way, right?
Mhm.
With a lot of stoppage, but in all sincerity, with the amount of time that they've had to prepare for this match and just get minutes to the players that really need it, I think the Dash have to put a foot all the way down on the throttle and
This
just let it go.
this is the Dash's home. I understand that most of the signs, most of the things say Dynamo, but this is the Dash's house, and you need to protect your house. Um, the home form has been very disappointing this season. That's been one of the struggle points. Um, but this is an opportunity for them to fix that, for them to get better at that, and in Rayadas is going to be experimenting, and so this is where you need to take advantage and get goals and get your offense going. I mean, that's been a big missing link in this team, and if they can get that going here, they'll be in really good shape for the second half of the season.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it looks like the lineup just finally dropped. Uh they had the paper going, but it's fine.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fine. We'll get to it. That's where we were trying to get to. But no, at the end of the day, this is a fantastic match. I know it's a little cloudy. I know there's the Astros game. There's a lot of excuses for people, but come out
Don't
here.
excuses for Manny.
Yeah. What is Manny doing?
Manny is celebrating. I would at least hope so. Is his favorite show of all time
Yeah.
because the Astros are having their friends
Yeah.
night. But yeah, are we able to show?
Yeah. They're asking because I think the other one when my phone rang. You can keep talking. Let me see if
Oh
I can
yeah,
fix the camera.
where are we at? Okay, so we are at the beautiful Shell Energy Stadium, home of the Houston Dash and the Houston Dynamo, respectively. This is our first show here. Is this y'all's first Dynamo show here?
That is the
Or-
first show ever.
It's the first show ever where we do it in the stadium. So it's a huge honor for all of us from Bayou City Soccer to, be here at the stadium. A little all over the place, but we're making do with what we have because the Houston traffic never fails to be terrible. Right, Manny? I mean, right,
Yes.
Rudy? But yeah, all things are good. We're very grateful to be here as we see Fabrice Catrat walking out onto the pitch with the slight drizzle of rain. Um, But yeah, we are at Shell Energy Stadium. You should totally pop out and enjoy a game here.
Sorry.
No worries.
You know, people always call it the worst times. You know, this time wasn't my mom. My mom tends to always call it the worst
Really?
times. You know,
Oh.
is your mom like that too? You're
Yeah,
like in the middle
no.
of something important, and it's like the phone will stop.
But you
ringing.
know, if you don't pick up, trouble's happening.
Absolutely. So yeah, no. To the point, yeah, we're here at Sharonese Stadium. Obviously, the weather hopefully dust is staying and kind of passes by and doesn't create many delays.
Yeah.
Since when I got here, they already had lightning delays kind of happening, but that was about an hour ago, so it's looking better. Nothing right now, and as you mentioned, you know, Fabrice is out there walking the field. The players came out as well to just walk the field before warming up. But yeah, it should be a good match, an intense match, very equal of an opponent, I believe. And we'll definitely see what Fabrice can come up with. I mean, the only issue before we have like 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
The issue that I've been finding with what Fabrice is doing is that they're really not a cohesive group yet when it comes to build-ups, right? They've the goals that they've scored and the results that they've gotten have been purely individual, like brightness, whether it be Olivieri hitting it from like 50 yards back and getting a little hop and skip for the ball to go over the goalkeeper, or the brilliant run that just me and Ryan did the other day, right? Kind of all the way to the touchline.
A brilliant thing where she cut inside, as we see, by the way, Jane Campbell warming up. So maybe there is an opportunity for her to get some minutes. But yeah, that Yasmin goal was also special. And I agree with the build-up play. However, I think that's not the root of the problem. I feel like the root of the problem is the identity that we're trying to play. I feel like doesn't necessarily suit the players that we currently have. Our hope y'all can do more of these. The Shell says Carlos. Yeah, I'm so grateful. Unfortunately, I do think this is my last game until I have to go back to the Bronx.
We'll be here though.
But they will be holding it down. Maybe I'll hop on Zoom.
Which, by the way, if whoever is listening, and if you're here or you just keep up with Bayou City Soccer, if you look for us tonight, I do have stickers that we can share to the crowd.
Hey, look at that.
Man, this has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been great.
Show. The setup wasn't too bad.
Before you go, before we go, we need your score prediction. I said 2-2.
2-2. You know, I'm kind of feeling the same way, especially because I want to see goals.
Okay.
But if Jake Campbell is starting, which again, I should have grabbed the lineup at this point to kind of for sure tell you this. But I think that defensively, Houston can do their thing and keep a clean sheet.
Yeah.
But that'd be such a boring game, right? I mean,
no, it would be.
You don't want to have like a 0-0 game, 0-1 game, you know, for any of the players. I want to see goals.
No, we all want to see goals. I think the last time I saw CF Monterrey in person was up in New York when they played Gotham for the Champions Cup. It was a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
What a snore.
So with that, I'll just up your score. I'll say 3-3.
There we go. Okay, at least we're getting goals. We're getting goals.
I won't be the same as you, but man, feel free to close.